Hi everybody, welcome to our next part of All About Pie Crust. So we've made the pie crust in the first take, and we actually made a couple of things. One right here is breakfast quiches, and the other one was little jam raviolis. And we took just a ravioli cutter and rolled out that pie crust and dolloped just some homemade jam, folded it over with a ravioli cutter to make these delicious little mini sweet treats. And they came out of the oven. I sprinkled them with a little bit of sugar, and they are just perfect and ready to go. They're nice and golden brown from the egg wash on the top of it, and they're just delicious. I can't wait to try them later. But first off, what I'd like to do is I have assembled some ingredients. We've got some bacon here that I just simply cut right off of the slab and diced it up and kind of fried it in my fryer. And then I took the same pan and just drained the bacon onto the napkin, and then I went ahead and took the breakfast sausage, put that in there and scrambled that up as well. Chopped up some mushroom, some onion. I've got some shredded cheese, different varieties here of a nice blend. And in my bowl here, I have 1 dozen eggs. So I went ahead earlier and I made the little mini quiche pie crust in a 4.5-inch diameter circle, laid them all in accordingly. And then I am just whisking the eggs together with a 1/2 cup of water, just regular cold tap water. And that just kind of helps incorporate all of the egg mixture together. And these are so good, especially in the morning. If you just microwave them for maybe 20 seconds at the most, 15 seconds, and just take them with you, they're nice and warm. Or if you like them cold, then you're good to go. And I store these in Ziploc baggies right in the fridge after I'm done, and after they're finished cooking, of course. I have my oven on 350 degrees, just warming up. So I think that is pretty well mixed up. You want to make sure that your egg mixture is really well mixed. If it feels a little too thick to you, then you can add a little more water, but I wouldn't recommend any more than 1/2 cup. If you don't want to add any water at all, you don't have to, but I like it just because it makes the eggs nice and fluffy. When you're doing an omelet as well, if you put in a couple tablespoons of water with your egg, it makes the best omelets. It's so fluffy, and the water actually helps the eggs kind of rise a little bit and become that fluffy consistency that you want. Okay, so now that that's finished, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spoon the mixture into my little egg dishes, and I have a 1/4 cup of, and I'm going to use just a hair less than a 1/4 cup. You probably could have used, you could have done it by the tablespoon if you wanted to, but that's totally up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm leaving it, probably, that first one was a little full, but you're going to leave it about a 1/2 inch from the top because you're going to fill this. Now, I did a dozen eggs because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep this egg mixture in like a Tupperware dish with a cover on it, just because it's great for instant omelets. If I need to make an omelet really quick, or if I need some egg mixture for something, it's done. And it stays in the fridge. It keeps really well. So as you can see, I have pretty much got everything ready to go. So to this, now's the time to assemble. You can put in whatever you want. If you want to put in some mushrooms in some, and maybe just some mushrooms, or just bacon, cheese, whatever you want to do, you're going to go ahead and assemble these. And simply, all you're going to do is just take a little bit and you're going to just drop them in. I love mushrooms. My husband loves mushrooms. So we both will take these anytime. Actually, everything that I have cut up, we absolutely love. Now, if you wanted to get really healthy with this, now granted the pie crust is the pie crust, but it's not like it's a whole slice of bread, right? So you could do some egg whites, some spinach, some kale, the onions, the mushrooms, peppers, whatever you wanted to do. It's completely up to you. The great thing about these is that you can just customize them to whatever you like. Now I have diced these onions and mushrooms up pretty fine. And that is because you don't want great big chunks. You want it evenly distributed. If you want a big chunk of it, I guess you could put it in there, but I'm not one for a great big piece of onion. I kind of like mine a little more mixed up than that. So I'm gonna add a few flakes of bacon to each one of these. This bacon smells so good. Oh my goodness, the house smells amazing right now. I was cooking it earlier and it was like, oh, just the smell of it was just phenomenal. So these are what I'm gonna call loaded breakfast quiches. So we like our pizza loaded, we like everything, the more the merrier. So we're good there. We're gonna use all of it up. Now the great thing about the pie crust is that it's just thick enough to hold all of these ingredients well so that we don't have a lot running over. I'm not very exact when I'm measuring this, everyone, so this is totally up to you and what you like, okay? So these are great also for the kids. If the kids want to get involved in making their own breakfast quiches, how great is that? You could chop up a whole bunch of different things and let them put it in there for breakfast. And it would be great. It's a great thing for them to do too. I'll tell you, no one can have more fun in the kitchen than a small child learning how to cook. And like I said, so many times in my life, my mother is a saint and she just took the time to cook with me. And I think that that's so important, that we've become such a technological world that sometimes we don't stop and we don't really realize, you know, they might be able to program how to make a stove work with a computer, but until they make robots that cook for you, it's kind of important to teach them the basics. So many times I think we just often run to the drive-thru and grab something, and we don't really pay much attention to maybe what we could be doing. So these are going to go ahead, they're going to pop in the oven at 350 degrees. They're going to cook for about 20 minutes. Now you're going to want to gauge this. You're going to see the egg form up, the cheese melt, and then the pie crust will crisp all around it. And when these come out, they're going to be wonderful. So stay tuned. We're going to take these out of the oven in just a few minutes and you'll be able to see the finished product. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back and the quiches have come out of the oven. They were in about a little over 20 minutes on 350 degrees. And the pie crust has just browned. The egg filling is all done and it's nice and crispy on the top. And what I've done is I've kind of gone around the edges of them and just kind of loosened them up a little bit with a knife, just so that they freely kind of come out of that muffin pan. So there you can see, I'm gonna cut one open for you just so that you can see the inside of it. And it smells absolutely delicious. So there we have the egg and the sausage, the bacon. You can see everything in there. So a couple different ways to use pie crust. Pie crust just isn't for pies. You can do something sweet, you can do something savory, but whatever you do, just make it with love. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.